Okay, okay.
So I rise to speak on the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Bill 2020. It's a privilege for me to speak on one of the most progressive pieces of legislation that I've come across in my 11 years here. I feel that as a man, it's very important for men to participate in discussions and debates around women's and gender justice issues so that they don't remain enclaves just for women. Because if we are to achieve gender justice, gender parity, then men will have to see themselves as equal partners in this fight. At the heart of this bill lies a philosophical question, which is, should women have total control over their bodies? And in the year 2020, the answer must be an emphatic yes. When we look at what the Honorable Lady said before me, I don't want to repeat too much. In countries like Ireland, El Salvador, and Chile, there are laws which say that women to abort a fetus have to serve 14 years in prison. It's extremely shocking, and it's nothing but institutionalized violence against women. I want to, not speak about what has been spoken before. Instead, I want to congratulate the government on 2 or 3 things that they've done to elevate the atmosphere around this bill before I start speaking on it, which is one, expanding the provider base, which is in order to increase the availability of safe and legal abortion services. They have sought to increase the base of MTP providers by including those medical practitioners in Ayurveda or homeopathy who have OBGYN training and training in abortion services. I'd also like to thank the Honorable Health Minister for particularly laying emphasis on working with the National Health Systems Resource Center to develop modern training packages for the accredited social health activists, which we call the ASHA, to enable them to provide the required information to women at the community level. I also want to say that they've used nurses for the first time that have been registered with the Nursing Council of India to add support, and also auxiliary nurse midwives. Let's look at the statistics around this issue. Why is it of the utmost importance? According to the International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai, and Population Council, Delhi, and the Guttmacher Institute, New York, we add up the incidence of unwanted pregnancies in India with respect to incest, rape survivors, and minors, differently abled women. What do we find? Over 19,000 children were raped in India last year. 6% of them became pregnant, right? That is 1,140 children that have already lost their childhood. Do we really want to punish them further more? This bill seeks to lift a large part of the burden that was on them. Of these 19,000 young girls and children, 80% were raped by somebody that they knew. When we look at victims of incest, right, it is National Crime Records Bureau statistics that of the 34,000 rapes that have been reported last year in our nation, 5 to 6% are incest-based. Now, it's important to understand that this will always be underreported, because if I'm raped by my cousin or brother or father, the social stigma is so horrific that I'm obviously not going to go to a police station and record that this has happened to me, right? But the fact remains that of government statistics, almost 18% of those that have been raped in an incestuous manner are likely to become pregnant. That is 408 girls last year. And this is going to be a game changer in the way that this burden and social stigma logistically is addressed, if not societally. The differently abled statistics we will never fully know, because they are the most vulnerable of any people in society, right? If a differently abled person is raped or molested, how on earth are they going to have the confidence? Sometimes they can't even express themselves properly, right? These are 250 cases just last year that have culminated in pregnancy. Now, if we allow abortion, if there's a risk of physical and mental abnormality, I think the government has wisely looked at this, So there have been 175,000 children that have been born last year who are born with severe retardation, cerebral palsy, and severe birth defects. Now, the onus on deciding whether that child should live or not doesn't lie with the government of India. It lies with the parents. However, the fact that the government has extended to them this difficult but important option is something that the government must get a lot of credit for. It hasn't been done before. The bill also takes into cognizance the importance of the fact that more than 35,000 pregnant women die while giving birth every year in our country. Now, there is a substantial amount of information to tell us that there is a known risk to the life of the pregnant woman or of grave injury to her continuing health, which she knows about when delivering her baby. So the fact remains that this bill will give her the option of staying alive and remaining healthy. Now, the bill also maturely and realistically looks at the socio-economic complexity of modern life, where a pregnancy may occur as a result of a failure of birth control. This is the reality of our times. Now, this may be seen to be an unwanted situation which can impact the family or the person concerned in several different ways. Unfortunately, it is the woman in such a situation who is more often than not blamed for such a situation. In ensuring confidentiality, the bill does well to protect what could be a socially and morally awkward time for the woman. I would like to thank the government, the Prime Minister, Honourable Minister, in amending the previous bill and bringing forth this bill, which will take our nation one step forward in ensuring the dignity of the Indian woman. After agriculturists and lawyers, the biggest listed profession in this House is that of medical practitioners. I hope that thus the House will pass this bill in one voice. Thank you, sir.